Hi, I'm Melissa Ingram, founder of Real Aspiring Woman. Today we're sitting here with our Real Aspiring Woman of the Month, Kristen. She's aspiring to be a doctor, and we're helping her this month by getting her to medical school. Her story is amazing, super inspiring, and we hope that it inspires you today. So Kristen, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your story. When did you first realize that you wanted to be a doctor?
Like when I was 5 years old, I had a Fisher Price kit and had a stethoscope and blood pressure cup and thermometer, and so I would practice on my sister Jasmine, who has cerebral palsy. So she was kind of captive audience. She couldn't go. She had to be my patient. So she can't walk or talk or anything like that. So I started at kind of a young age helping to take care of her, changing her, feeding her, helping to bathe her, carrying her, transporting her where she needed to go. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of like my first taste that I liked caregiving. Once I got to college and it was really time to pursue my goal, I realized how difficult it would be, because they tell you got to take calculus and physics and organic chemistry and general chemistry and this and that and this and that, and they're all hard. So I successfully completed the courses. That was kind of a major accomplishment, going to courses that I felt like were so intimidating, and then be able to complete the major and complete all the requirements for medical school. To me, that was an accomplishment in itself. Yeah. And so then I took a test that I needed to prior to medical school admittance, and then I applied, and I was rejected. Mm-hmm. So after that rejection, I thought, okay, I'm going to apply next year, and I'm going to retake the test, and next thing I know, it's 9 years later.
So why did it take you 9 years?
Well, right after I had applied to medical school, I had met my husband, and so it was kind of like the focus was on, we got engaged rather quickly, and then the focus was on, planning a wedding, saving money for a wedding, saving money for our own place, and, just starting our life.
Was there this light bulb moment where you were like...
Yeah, I think after everything had happened with the wedding and we were settled in our place, and then I was like, I need to really do this now or never. Mm-hmm. So definitely after we were married.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do after that?
So I decided to apply to a program that helps disadvantaged students to get into medical school. And so it was a really competitive process, and I was really happy when I was accepted. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, the high kind of went down when I found out that my husband wouldn't be able to go.
And you guys had just gotten married, right?
Yeah, we've been married just barely a year at this point. We're celebrating our first anniversary and pretty much packing at the same time.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So what happened, with the move? Was it hard?
Oh man, it was difficult. There was a mold in the apartment, so we had all our stuff ready to unpack. My husband had came up there to help me move, and so we're getting ready to unload, and then find the mold and we can't move in. And so for the 3 days, we were sitting in the lobby of the apartment managers, just trying to figure out where we were gonna go and what we were gonna do. And we're wearing the same clothes. I'm washing out my clothes in the sink of the hotel, and so. They said it would take maybe a couple days to fix it, and then they said later on that it was going to take 3 weeks. Wow. One of the hotels, I woke up and I was covered in bites, and to only find out they had fleas. Ugh. Yeah, so I was kind of done with the hotel living, so they were like, well, you can come back to the apartment as is, with no sink. So I figured that, one, we're running out of money for food and hotels, so I just decided to come back to the hotel. Come back to the apartment. And so inside the apartment, whenever I needed to wash my dishes, I had to take them into the bathtub to wash them. So when I go to get the spaghetti or whatever, I'm turning on the shower so I can cook. It was kind of ridiculous and funny and stressful all at the same time.
Yeah. How did that affect going to school and stuff?
Yeah, it was difficult, because I had been out of school a long time, and you're going back and you don't do organic chemistry, just on a regular basis, so you don't remember it. So you're thrown in there with people that are way younger than you. They've just finished school. It's fresh for them, and it's intimidating as well. Yeah. And so on top of my personal issues, I had the stress of starting school, and I kind of just wanted to quit. I started to lose my hair. My hair was falling out. Oh, wow. I got diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, and so It was just stressful, and I called my mom and said, hey, Mom, I just want to quit. This is just too hard. I'm not doing well, and it's really stressful. And she was just kind of like, well, if they don't kick you out of the program, stay there and, keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, with my mom's advice, I just, really stayed and worked harder and just kept going. And then all of a sudden, I started getting my test back, and I was like, oh, wow, look at this. It's an A. And so I did well that quarter, and then the next quarters I got better and better, and so it was really encouraging. Like, grand finale is like you take this test called MCAT, and I had already taken it twice before, and so this time I was...
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, third time's the charm. And so I studied for probably like 6 months, like 8 hours a day. I didn't work, so financially we were really struggling, but I put in everything I had into the test. And so I took the test, I got my score back a month later, and I didn't do it. And it was like literally devastating, because it's like I put everything into it, during this time. Like I said, I wasn't working. My husband ended up losing his job. We had to move back in with parents. We no longer had our place. We almost got evicted from our apartment, so we had to quickly sublease it. It was just like, I just felt like, although I had worked really hard, and did all that I had done during the year to, get ready to apply, like I felt like I had done it for nothing, and I felt like I had set us back in our marriage and just our financial situation and everything, and I didn't really have anything to show for it. An advisor had told me to go ahead and apply with the score that I'd gotten, and so I picked myself up off the ground, because I was literally on the ground crying, and I applied, and this time it's been a much better experience than last time. I've gotten a lot further in the process than I did last time, so I'm really encouraged and optimistic about, fulfilling my dream and getting into medical school this year.
So what would you tell someone in your position?
I would say, don't quit your dream. It's going to be difficult. I think there's just difficulties in anything you want to do. There's going to be setbacks, there's going to be hurdles. And a lot of us, when we get to those setbacks and we get to those hurdles, we think that means that we're supposed to stop. Really, we're just supposed to jump over them and keep going, because honestly, when you have a big dream, it's going to be scary, and they say if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. So when there are those obstacles, I would say you have to really surround yourself with supportive people. Like for me, it was my mom telling me, keep going. And if you don't have that, you got to get in that mirror and tell yourself, hey, keep going. There's a lot of no's before you get that yes. And there's a lot of people who are going to criticize your dream, criticize the way you look, criticize, say you're not smart enough, you don't have enough money. I mean, just anything, you know what I mean? But you really have to be strong and look past what other people say about you, and really check that self-doubt that you may have about yourself too, and just think positive and say, I'm going to live my dream, because the only person who can stop you from your dream is yourself. So don't quit your daydream.
We want to come together as a community and support each other's dreams. This month, a portion of Raw's profits will go towards helping Kristen get into medical school. It's a very expensive process that involves multiple interviews across the country. This means Kristen has to pay for her own airfare and her own lodging. Since we've spoken, Kristen has already landed her first interview, which is super exciting. But she's also already spent $900 in booking that trip alone. In these next 3 weeks, we want to raise at least $500 to go towards her next interview trip. This month's shirt says, "Don't quit your daydream." It's the perfect encouragement for you or for someone that you love, and it's also the perfect Christmas gift. Don't forget that this shirt is only being sold until December 11th, so get it while you can. Click this link here and get your shirt today.